modern world, women are progressing. The social and economic status of the women have soared to height, and they are no longer confined within the boundaries of the four walls. They are playing the roles of a working woman, an efficient homemaker, and a proud mother along with a daughter. From keeping the home safe and cleaning to portraying excellent outcomes in the workplace, a woman can do it all. Their capabilities must not be underestimated based on their gender, and they should be given equal opportunities to display their talents. I, Shaurya, on behalf of the Ladder podcast channel, welcome you all to this unique episode in series of interviews. Today on the panel, we have a versatile and multi-talented Sqn Ldr Vibhuti Mangal, retired from Indian Air Force, who is currently working as a program manager at Amazon. She is also a sustainability ambassador, EQ champion, award-winning author, motivational speaker, and career counselor. So without wasting much of our time, let's begin her interview.
Welcome to the Ladder podcast channel. It's an honor and privilege to interview a veteran like you who is multi-talented and versatile.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
Ma'am, to start with the interview, ma'am, how did Air Force help you to build your profile for the corporate jobs?
So for like 4G officers, whether you are in Air Force, Army or Navy, we do a lot of activities. We look after the welfares and promotions of our Jawans. We deal in an environment which is highly volatile, uncertain, lots of restrictions we have when we have to spend something. We are always in the crunch of resources, right? So these are the kind of situations which prepare you really well. We are very much trained in handling pressures, working with very minimal amount of resources, meeting the deadlines, because unlike corporate, wherein if you don't meet the deadline, you will face loss of profits. It will be mostly monetary. But if in military you don't meet your deadlines, if you're not up to the mark, if you don't follow the quality standards, if you do any kind of mistake, man and material are on the verge of losing their value and life, right? So all these kind of things actually prepare us really well when we come to the corporate. The only thing where we lack, I think, is the language, because we have a different lingo when we talk in military. We have different meanings of them. Corporate, they use different kind of jargons. So that's the only thing which is different, trust me. Otherwise, whatever we are doing, we have done whatever you have to do in corporate, once you retire and come here, everything you have done in military, and in a much better way, and in a very unsupportive environment a lot of times. So that's how I always say, if you have served in the military, it will always be a cakewalk for you in corporate. Just be ready to accept the changes and be a little flexible in your learning.
Perfect, ma'am. How well in advance you had planned your transition from military to corporate?
Last 1 year is good enough amount of time. You can start before that, but that will give you a lot of anxiety. And if you start later than that, then also it's totally fine. But I had a plan in my life. I mean, it's always like that after college, I mean, during my college, I've decided I wanted to join, give my exams in SSB. Once in the Forge, I've decided that I want to leave after 10 years and I want to pursue other things in this line. There is only one life, right? So that's why I've decided that I want to really see what other adventures the life has to offer. So during my 9th year, I have decided, forwarded my papers to request for an early release, 10 years, right? And then I've started preparation. So first thing is, you would start looking for what kind of profiles in the civil you want to aim for, you are good for. Because trust me, like I said, if you have worked in Forge as an officer, you are eligible to apply at multiple positions in corporate, but you cannot try all of them together, क्योंकि आपका ध्यान भटक जाएगा और थोड़ा सा सिलेक्शन करने में मुश्किल हो जाएगा, रिज्यूमे टेलर करने में मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So that is why you have to identify which profile you're best at, and what do you want your second inning to be like? What profile do you want? So I have gone through all these things, little bit Googled, made a profile on LinkedIn and Naukri, and started going through the job descriptions, which helped me understand that this is the kind of work I want to do. Another very important thing is, which I did in my last year, is I reached out to a lot of people, a lot of officers who were retired, a lot of my colleagues, to get both the perspective. Like, how far have they come in 10 years? What do they suggest for me, since I'm their friend, right? And they know my skills. And from the perspective of a veteran, what was their transition? How engineers or core combat members, how do they transfer? What do they, if they are in HR? So when you start speaking with them, when you start knowing what their day looks like, it becomes very easy to understand what do you want your second inning to look like. And that's how I decided that okay, so in my last year I was super confused between going to the operations role, because I'm an aeronautical engineering and aviation makes a really good career for me. Another thing was program management as a project manager, because you finish a project, move on to the next one, do some kind of analysis, problem building, and it's kind of a really interesting thing. Maybe we can talk about it in later in detail. So that's how I've decided in my last year I wanted to either land up with the operations role or a project manager role.
Ma'am, as we are aware, the short service officers has to serve for initial 10 years and then extended period of 4 years. Keeping aside their personal commitment, what do you suggest would be the ideal one? To leave at 10 or they continue till 14?
Okay, so totally your call. Whosoever is listening, whosoever wants to leave, it's totally your decision. If you're comfortable, please leave at 10 years, okay? Because in civil, 10 years of service, 14 years of service are at equal bar. There is no difference, right? So whatever position a 10-year officer would be joining and whatever position a 14 or 12-year officer would be joining is at same level. It's not that you 14-year officer would be joining at a higher position than a 10-year. It's same bracket for us. But if your family conditions are like that, you have to keep working for some time, maybe the market is not certain, and maybe at the end of 10th, you have decided almost at the end of 10th that you want to transit, then take some time, prepare yourself, and then come outside. Don't make a hasty decision, because coming to the corporate without preparation can be a bit challenging and can be a bit depressing. And yeah, definitely there will be a lot of pressure. But yes, if possible, I would always say come out at 10 years, because you would be at least 4 years younger, okay? And you will be at a good position. There's no point serving for another 4 years and still landing up at the same position where you could have 4 years before.
And same might be applicable for the permanent officers, ma'am, who will be leaving after PMR of 20 years.
Yes, a little dynamics change for them a little bit, because for permanent officers, who come out at 20 years and after, they are not observed for positions on which 10 and 14 years officers are generally observed. There are a lot of things. First, if you're really good with technology, if you're really good in learning things, then definitely you can land with a lot of jobs. But generally, because in 20 years, age also plays a factor. And then mostly things which we will be dealing with, which the corporate will offer us, is security, senior management, or administration. So the role, chances of getting observed in the corporate for a permanent commission officer are definitely lesser than short service commission officer, because age always play a role. A company would definitely want to hire a young person rather than a person with experience, because there's always a vertical hierarchy, right? You can put a 10% here in the middle of a vertical and he would agree, he or she would, because just 10 years doesn't matter. A 20 years of experienced person would never settle at this position. He would want to be a little bit up, but there are only a handful of positions at that level. So these things make it really difficult for PC officers. The more they delay in coming outside, the more it will be difficult for them to find a position which can do justification with their experience. So that's how it differs.
Please tell us about your experience in general management program and SCM that you have pursued from NIIE, ma'am.
Okay, so NITI time had been really good. And I will talk in general about the importance of PRC. It's an amazing thing. You should do it, because again and again, I'm saying we do a lot of things in Forge. Similar things we have to do outside. Okay, it's really easy for us. Only challenging part is we don't understand their language, and we have to understand, we have to come on a common ground, right? So for that, that's those 6 months really give you a good amount of time to understand that you speak in their language, and when the corporate talks to you, you understand, right? For example, just a very basic example, operation. For a military person, operation means something related to, maybe rescue mission, some kind of war operation, some kind of peace operation. A very limited definition we have with respect when we launch an operation. If you talk in the language of corporate, operation is like, anything which is up and running. So if your computer is running and producing some reports, it's like an operation here. So that's how the risk, the component changes. For us, risk is always about losing a machine or a man. Here, risk is just not meeting the deadline. Maybe you had 100 customers call and 95 were answered and 5 were not answered satisfactorily. So that is like risk of not meeting the deadline. So similar kind of things you will understand only when you go through a proper course. If you have time, I would always say, please go to it. So NITI was really good. And why I chose SCM, supply chain management, is because my husband is a civilian and he has his own business. So in future, I look forward to maybe joining him in his business adventures after some years. And I really wanted to understand how this works. And being a technical officer, I had worked with aircrafts and had a lot of dealings with, government organization, international organization, where we have to put orders for the aircraft spare parts and all. So I have been involved in the logistics or supply chain operations with the Indian Air Force. So I thought that this is one of the good places where I can land up. And if you want to become an operation manager in civil, if you really think that you're good at handling the supply chain and all, NITI is one of the best institutes in India. That's why I opted for NITI and opted for supply chain there. And I chose finance as my major because I was really bad when it came to finance. I mean, seriously, this is very stupid, but I never looked at my even pay slip to understand what all parameters are there. I just used to see, okay, fine, this is going to come in my pay slip. But if you're coming to corporate, you have to understand a lot of things because you will be handling a lot of finances here, which doesn't happen when we deal with military. We handle finances, but in a different way. Here, there are a lot of compliances, that there are lots of regulations. So that's how NITI really shaped me and really helped me to understand exactly what I want to, what profiles do I want to target, what are my strong parts, what are the things that I need to work upon. So those 6 months were really amazing. Yeah, so I would definitely say please go for it if you have a chance. Don't leave the option of doing PRC. It's a really good thing, which the government of India offers a transitioning military officer.
How useful is the PMP certification in your current role, ma'am?
It's good. So one very important thing is that resumes get shortlisted by software. So, maximum times there are AI softwares. So if you have good keywords, your resume will get filtered. If you have good certifications like PMP, it puts add-on value to it. This is one basic thing why it is important. Another, on a serious note, it will help you understand, number one, the corporate language. Whatever you have done, you can tell other person that I have handled these things. I was a strategic planner. I used to manage resources. I was a risk manager. All these kind of heavy words you can say in the terms of project management to the corporate. It will help you project your work. It will help you understand how do they handle projects, and it will give you a formal knowledge of how things are done. And it's really, really good. Even if you don't want to get the certificate, I would say certificates is not that necessary as the knowledge which the certification provides. So don't go for certification if somebody doesn't want, but please go through the book. They are really good books. Pimbok is a bit technical book. It's good. It's heavy. Another is Rita. It's amazing, lovely book. Very good if a military officer wants to look. It's very basic level English, basic level terminologies, and very neatly drafted for a person who wants to understand what is happening in the field of project management. And once you read it, you will really realize, that for past 10, 14 or 20 years, whatever you have been doing, you were working as a project manager through and through. So it will give you that perspective. If you have more questions towards this field, I would be really happy to help or answer.
Yes, ma'am. What would be the best way and correct time to pursue this PMP certification?
Okay, so I would say don't go for it more than 3 hours before you are retiring, because as humans, we have a tendency of forgetting things if we don't put them into application. So start reading, start going through this stuff, but go for certifications maybe a quarter or 4-5 months before your release, not before that. Otherwise you will totally forget. Like, I have done my PMP in January and I have most of my interviews lined up in May and June. So I had to literally go through the entire certification books and every process again, because though you would have been doing all this kind of work, right? But ye jo language hoti hai na, these jargons which are new to us, so you will mug them up, you will remember them, clear your certification, but 6 months you have not used those language again, because I've gone back to my unit and I was talking in again the Fauji language, so out of the mind. So when my interviews started popping up, I realized, oh my God, I really don't remember it and I have to go through the entire syllabus again. So it's really good if you can just maybe within last quarter before you are about to get released or retired, do it at that time. And how much time it takes is depends upon you. People take up to 1 year, people clear it in a month, 2 weeks. So maybe if somebody who's looking after doing it, just get the book first, go through the syllabus and see how many hours can you give. For me, I was about to finish my PRC time and I had to join back to unit, right? So I had less than 4 weeks and I just took it as a challenge that either I have to do it now or I'll have to wait for my retirement, because I was pretty sure once I go back and join, I won't be getting any time to study, because I was posted in Northeast and that sector is really not good. It's very busy all the time. So that's how you plan it. Based upon where you're posted, how much time do you have? If you think that you cannot give more than 3 or 4 hours, then start 6 months before, maybe an year before, maybe just study for an hour or 2 hour daily and start understanding those aspects. So totally on you, how much time can you give? But yes, last 1 year of your transitioning life, please start sorting things out in your mind. This is I want to do, these are the certifications I want to do, and last 6 months, give your best.
Tell us about your 18 various certifications of licenses that you have acquired from the LinkedIn and how relevant they are.
Okay. So I read a lot. I really like to learn a lot. I have done a couple of certifications and degrees. The maximum I do because I want to learn something. And when you have a target, if I have to say you ki, okay, just say, for example, I've learned organic farming. So if I want to gain knowledge about organic farming, maybe I'll just read a couple of articles. I'll start Googling about it. I'll download some files and go through it. After some time, I'll get bored because I don't have a path ahead of me and I might drop it. So one thing I do is I enroll in a program, maybe a degree or certification or diploma or anything. So that gives me a push that I've got my exams. I've got a syllabus. I have to finish it. It kind of gives me a roadmap. So there is one reason why I do a lot of things. If we talk about professional certifications for transitioning, I told you I was super confused between operations and project manager roles. So for last 1 year, I've started talking with a lot of my college friends, a lot of officers who have transitioned before me, and kept asking them what are the certification which they did, what are the certifications which are in demand right now. I went to Naukri and LinkedIn, went through a lot of job description, lot of, right? And when you go through them, you will see there are prerequisites. Maybe, for example, like you have to be good in Tableau, Power BI, maybe advanced Excel, or you should have Lean Six Sigma certification. So these kind of things I started picking up. Then I started Googling about them. What kind of certifications are these? How much time do I need? So that's how, and I wanted a work from home job. Okay, this was my third condition because that time my daughter was not even 1 year. She was like 1 year when I was doing my PRC. So I wanted a job where I can land into a work from home kind of position. So IT is a really good thing, and I'm a computer science engineer. So I thought this is the best option if I can land there. So I started reviving my computer science background certifications or knowledge, which can help me to get into the roles of data analysis or IT role, some kind of a IT program manager role, right? So I started lining them up. So for like, um, what, like I have few certifications in database management. I'm a Linux certified engineer. I've got Reddit certifications. I have international certifications in Java from Sun. So these are the certification I had from my college time. And now I've started taking certifications in Tableau. I've done PMP. Scrum Master and Agile certifications are another thing which are really in demand right now if you want to target the project or program management. Okay. So that's how I just did one certification after another till the time I could actually figure out what I have to do. So my advice is, if you are very much clear what you want to do those certifications. Okay, if you don't do, तो फिर confuse होने के बजाय ना, like whatever you can do, just do. Knowledge in education never harms. A little bit heavy it might be on your pocket, but it will always be worth, because knowledge आएगी कभी ना कभी वो use जरूर आएगा आपको. So if you know your way, do those. If you don't know your way, just keep doing certification that will keep you on the learning track. If anybody has any question with respect to any specific certification, with respect to any role, just let me know. I have done so many certifications, like 18 you have mentioned, and other degrees. I really know which certificate will help you understand what kind of aspects. So maybe if somebody wants to know, we can get in touch and talk in detail one by one. I don't have any problem. I have my full, I can always find time to help the transitioning veterans, because last 1 year I was really under pressure. I mean, there was not so many resources, not these podcast channels where I am sharing my experience. Right now, a lot of military officers share their experience. So by listening to them, it helps us. But 2 years back, it was not that the case. So just let me know if there are any more questions on this.
Ma'am, please tell us about the salary negotiation and how to go about it.
Okay, so for salary negotiations, the salary would range from, as low as 15, 16 lakhs. People would offer you even 12 lakhs. I don't know what goes in their mind when they offer this. And it would go up to 70, 80 lakhs. This is a huge bracket. So now it is up to you. How confident are you on your skills? How badly the company wants you? Okay, how updated are you with respect to the corporate? So salary negotiation is totally your call. On the same position, an officer may land up maybe at 27, 28, another may land up at 45, another may land up at 60. It's totally your skill. Another important thing, very important thing is try to go from LinkedIn and Naukri. Military veteran hiring programs give us a very low salary and CTC because they have made certain kind of MOUs with the government of India, which are way past our current salaries now, way past our current standard of living. So go through them. But my personal suggestion is if you can get picked outside those veteran hiring programs, your salary would be really, really higher. And if you have to understand your salary, so CTC is cost to company, okay? So there is a term, it's a casual term like cost to government, CTG. Try to convert your current salary, your living status. You have a home, you have a garage, you have a garden, you have got people supporting you, right? All those kind of swimming pool facilities, mess, and all these kind of health benefits which you and your family gets. So all these things take into consideration your insurance, right? Your traveling allowances and everything. Then try to make a cost to government figure. It will come close to 70, 80 lakhs. This may sound stupid to a lot of people. A lot of people told me when I calculated this, but I am at a really good salary right now because of this, because I know my worth. I could never land at a job which cannot offer me the same kind of life standard which the military was offering me. So totally on you. If you're really ready to work hard and really understand your worth, you will land up at a really good figure. But the bracket I've told you, it ranges from 15, 16 to 70, 80 lakhs. So it's totally on you. Where do you want to land at?
Absolutely, ma'am. I'm sure our viewers would be interested in knowing the relevance of different certifications for different roles. Please tell us about your current job role and the profile what you are working in Amazon, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm Program Manager 2 in Amazon right now. To talk about in brief and not telling too much of the details, I'm looking after projects, IT projects, okay, for India, North America, and Europe region. And I look after the operations for Amazon lockers. We don't have Amazon lockers in India as of now, but we do have a lot of lockers in North America, Europe, UK, Australia, and Japan. So all these places my teams are working, and that is why I am able to find a position wherein I can work from home right now, because all my teams are spread around the globe, and we have one team which sits in Bangalore. So this is in short about me. I look after how to make sure that all the operations or all the IT operations are in place. If the locker operations are properly being handled, I've got a team of engineers working. And then we worked on automation parts. So basically, I am in the robotics and automation vertical right now, handling the IT operations and projects.
And what is the role about this sustainability ambassador you have performed in the Amazon, ma'am?
Okay. So at Amazon, the company has got a really good culture of developing different communities, people who believe in different kind of task. So right now, and you can either work as a volunteer. If you're really good, they would make you ambassadors or champions or managers, things like that. So sustainability ambassador is one of the positions wherein the company tries to balance the 3 Ps, which is people, profit, and the planet. We have to make sure these 3 are always in sync together, right? So as a sustainability ambassador for Amazon India, I make sure to launch the policies, to make people aware about our impacts, what kind of new techniques or technologies or ways we can implement in the warehouses, in the operation centers, in the corporate office as a person to person. We track down the metrics, right? How much carbon are we generating? How much water can we save? Similar kind of thing. So this sustainability ambassador basically targets the Amazon's goal of living in harmony with the environment and this planet. So it revolves around similar kind of work.
That's an interesting one, ma'am. As per you, what are the certain valuable qualities or the lessons from the armed forces career which you feel that they are very handy in the corporate jobs?
Okay. One thing is we are never taught to say no, right? No matter if you can do the job or not, one thing which your senior will always say you is, tell me how you can do it. So we have that mindset that if a job comes to us, we always think, how can I make it possible? We never said it's impossible, it cannot be done. We are always told to think on the lines that make it possible. Tell me what kind of support you need and find out the ways. This will help you a lot in corporate because a job will come to you and you will start working around it. People will love you, your team will love you, that you always got that enthusiasm. And in military, we always work in the crunch of resources and finances. Okay, everybody will agree with me on this. So you will be a really good frugal manager when it comes to corporate. When it comes to risk analysis, if you're not a really good risk manager, you I will say that you're not a really good military officer, right? Because your man and material can lose. So we have been doing through and through in our lives. So when it comes to the risk analysis, risk management, preparing standbys, putting an idea, forecasting things, we are really good at it, really good at it. How much resources do you want for next quarter? We have been doing it because you're going on a mission. Maybe you will stuck there for 2 months. How much ration do you want? What kind of things you think your man or party will be needing, right? Similar things. How things can go wrong, and if things go wrong, what are your standby measures or what are your immediate measures to resolve them? So we always think on those lines, and it's a really good things for us when we come to the corporate. And our next is very important is when we change our postings, when we go from location to another, our profiles keep on changing. Suddenly we may be told that there is this married officers quarter coming up, go and do this board of officer. You have no idea about how it is done, but you will start working with the engineers, CPWD or military engineering services. Try to find your way out. You will start understanding how to read the map, what are the finances involved, how is the approval process goes through, what is the local government regulation around it. We will go through all this if we have to finish that board of officers, right? So here, whenever a new challenge comes to you, you are like, okay, fine, it's totally good, I think I can work around with it. You will never take pressure to it. So these kind of things will definitely help you, and these are the general things I'm talking about. I'm not talking in respect to any particular trade or branch. This is the general thing which all the military veterans, be an officer or jawan, are really good at.
Were you hired through the veteran hiring drive in the Amazon, ma'am?
No, my profile was picked through Naukri. So, okay. I would say please make a profile on LinkedIn and Naukri.com. One good tip which I've got from my college friend is, don't think that profile ban gaya hai and now things will start falling in, okay? Minimum twice a week, please open your Naukri.com profile, maybe update your phone number, email address, your skill, okay? Do some chit-chat with your profile so that the software knows, the website knows that you are active on this platform and you're actively looking for a job. And your profile will always be at the top when recruiters look at. This is a very good tip which I got from my friend.
What is your opinion about pursuing the MBA through distance program or executive program, ma'am?
I have done online MBA. As of now, a lot of companies don't consider it. Maybe in future they will start considering it because currently work from home is being, promoted. A lot of certifications are happening, which you don't have to go in class. You just take the online classes. So maybe with time, it will be considered. But right now, a lot of companies just will tell on your face that it's a distance program. We don't consider it. So it's useless. If possible, join some evening college and do it. Or maybe, if you can take a break and want to pursue a full-time executive MBA, that is really, really good. You can go for it. It's totally your call. I could do it. I was not in a hurry to jump on the job. But if you don't want to study for that long, you can just gather that knowledge because you already have managerial experience. From day one, you're the manager. Unlike our civil counterparts who start as a, maybe recruiter or an engineer, it takes them 6-7 years minimum to start leading a team. We people are managers from day one. So if you just gather enough knowledge through various mechanisms, it is really not necessary for you to have a fancy top B school degree. This is my opinion. Please just gather knowledge and project your managerial experience, military experience with confidence, and you're good to go through any job you want to target at.
Speaking about the managerial experience in military job, ma'am, what are these skills specifically required for a project manager role?
For being a project manager, you have to be good in planning. You have to make sure that all your stakeholders are in sync. Stakeholders like all your parties, whosoever is affected and is affecting your project, they should be in sync. So you should know how to do that. You should be a good resource planner. So these are the things which we keep doing and which are a must when it comes to any kind of a project, risk assessor and planning in advance, what you can do, how you can, enhance those opportunities or maybe reduce those threats. So these are a few things which by default you will bring in your profile, in your character from military, and it will help you to land up in a job as a project manager. If you ask me, every military officer is a project manager. It just cannot happen that a military officer, be it of any branch, is not good at project management. It just can never happen.
And what are the various other roles that one should aim in companies like Amazon, ma'am?
You can target at a lot of roles, but which are easy for us to land is operations. If you have work, you have some kind of experience, which engineering branch officers have a little edge on. The supply chain management or logistics or the operations part, right? Project manager, everybody can target. This one profile I can just with 100% confidence, I can say anybody, be whatever you're doing there, you can target this. HR role, whatever you're doing, you can target it, because at any point of time, you have a lot of men reporting to you. You look after their well-being, you look after their promotions, you look after their family requirements. Okay, you look after their training aspects, how they can grow, how can they their leave aspects, everything. So this is a good L&D department, learning and development, recruiting, right? Promotional aspects. Another is administration. Every military officer is a very good administrator, so you can target those jobs. Every military officer is a very good security officer. I mean, come on, we are looking after the national security, and you just have to look few of the security aspects in a corporate company, so you can target those. In security, you can go for physical security, which will be way easier than what you used to handle, obviously, right? Another is IT or cyber security, which will be a lot harder than you used to do in military, obviously. Okay, so these are a few things which you can target. But if you want to learn, then you can target the jobs of data analytics, data scientist. This is very much in demand. Maybe of a business analyst, finance analyst. We do a lot of similar things, but not to an expertise level. So maybe you can increase your knowledge and then start targeting these jobs. We can definitely do that with little bit of hard work, and maybe one odd certification around this would definitely push our resume to get the job.
Ma'am, apart from your professional competency and expertise, ma'am, I can make out you are an author, you are an avid skydiver, and you write poems. So I seriously doubt whether your clock has 24 hours or more than that. So how do you manage all these activities, ma'am?
I have been asked this questions since I can remember. Okay, so from school also. So one good thing is, what matters to you, you will always find time. Be it relation, be it a hobby, be it a passion, be it anything. If you really like something, you will always find time. I don't watch TV. I don't like it. Those drama. Since my school days, I really don't watch TVs. Okay. Once in a while, I do watch some kind of a series or movies. That also I've started in my college stage. So you can see out of 24 hours, I mean, like what, you will sleep for 6, 7 hours. You will go to school, college, or do your job. I mean, what will you do? How much time does it take to go through a newspaper? And since I keep reading a lot, so I can read really fast. So maybe half an hour for a newspaper, some kind of a book, and I keep reading, right? So still, like whatever you do, you will have lots and lot of time. And then another thing which helps me do all these things is do it one by one. It's not necessary, that you have to paint daily or you have to write a poem daily. One day write a poem, another day maybe paint, another day maybe just water the plants. So keep doing all these things. Life has so much to offer. Never ever restrict yourself to anything. And don't waste time on social media and television. Trust me, 24 hours are more than enough for us to pursue and peruse whatever we want.
Please tell us about the book you have authored, ma'am, and the award you have received for that particular book.
Okay. So I've co-authored a lot of books, but my first single, like which I only wrote, designed and everything book, its title is Elements of Emotions. And I penned it down during my pregnancy break. My mother always wanted me to formally launch my collection of poetries and stories which I keep writing. But I never took her seriously on this because these were the few things which I actually write for myself, not for anybody else. So I was not taking her seriously. But when I became mother, I don't know, it just kicked to me that my mother is asking me one thing from so many years since I was in school, and how can I not understand why it is so important for her to for me to launch this formally for her. So I have taken out time during my maternity break, started collecting those, regularized my thoughts, and launched this book before my maternity break was over. This book was highly appreciated. I even got an appreciation letter from the Vice President of India, and I've got India Authors Award for the best book in poetry for the year 2021. It's available on Amazon if anybody wants to read.
Amazing, ma'am. We'll definitely include the link of your book on our channel. And
Thank
I
you.
think you manage your YouTube channel for the poems also.
Yes, that I have recently started after reading my books and after I have been I've went to a couple of the poetry events. So I've came in contact with a lot of people who said that I should do it more often. But with the service, it's not possible for you to be available in public. So I didn't do it. So once I retired, I thought that I should do it. And once I started recording poems and putting on my channel, I received lots of good reviews and requests what kind of subjects they want to hear. So that's how this journey started, and it's very basic right now, right? But I really love to share. Words are my best friend. So whenever I'm happy, I write. Whenever I'm sad, I write. Even if I'm crying, I write. So like whenever there is an epitome of any kind of emotion, I write. And then I try and record it and put it on the YouTube. Poetry, short stories, or maybe one-to-one talks, or some kind of life lessons which I have gathered in my life in all these years.
And what about the counseling you do to the schools, colleges, and even to the transitioning veterans for their resume building and all? Can you please tell us more about that, ma'am?
Yes. So for this, See, I think we have this duty of giving back to the society. I have started from a very small village where there were not many resources. I didn't even know how to speak in English till my final year of engineering. I mean, that was, I'm really ashamed of that at that time, right? Because in interviews, I used to be very shy about it. And I didn't know if somebody asked me, introduce yourself. So I started picking up English in my final year. And I've started picking up a lot of technologies and certifications also from college. So I want that from a small village girl, from becoming a class group A officer and then joining corporate on such a good front. It's not possible for me to do all these things if I don't have the support or guidance from people around me. So now, once I have achieved it, it's my duty that I have to give it back to the society. So I have been um, coordinating with a lot of NGOs from Amazon also. I am a certified counselor for the school students. I do take a lot of sessions in the colleges as well on career counseling, subjects choosing, simple pressure handling, life coaching, leadership modules I take for them, for transitioning veterans, uh, anyone who has any kind of question, right? Because I've done a lot of certifications because I didn't know what I wanted to do till my last year. So if you want to know anything, whether it be a security certification, ops, program management, or IT, or BA or data analytics, feel free to connect with me. It's my duty. I have to help you because I have got help whenever I wanted. God has been really kind on me. Whenever I wanted something, there was somebody to guide me, and now it's my turn. So I keep doing it.
Thank you so much for the offer, ma'am. I'm sure viewers should be excited to avail that service of yours. Any last word of advice for the transitioning officers, ma'am?
Yes. Believe in yourself. You have been commissioned by the President of India. If you ever feel low, repeat it 5 times, 10 times a day. Look into your eyes in the mirror. Say it. Okay. If the President of India has commissioned you, you must have something in you. So don't feel low. Don't be scared or nervous when you have to transition. The corporate world seems difficult because we are seeing from the other side of the world. But once you enter, you will realize it's really, really easy than what you're doing right now. You are working in an environment where you can die, you can lose your people you work with, a lot of things can happen. Here, it's nothing like that. It's all about money and profit. So it's really not that difficult, trust me. You just have to be open for suggestions, for learning opportunities. And one thing which you have to drop is your military officer ego, which we see a lot. And this HR will ask you in your interviews how you're going to do. And here, everything you will have to do. You will not have your JCOs or Javans running around you to get your task done. Here, everything you have to do by yourself. So just accept this fact, and we are really good to go in the corporate in an amazing way. All the very best. Feel free to get in touch if you have any questions, and each one of you has the capacity. You remember President of India, anytime you feel bad, okay? That helped me.
Absolutely, ma'am. It was a great interaction and very learning discussion, ma'am. I'm sure all your
Thank,
valuable suggestions and the guidance would be advantageous for the viewers, ma'am. Thank you so
I
much for
would
your
say
valuable time.
thank you, Shaurya, for this podcast and for this, initiative to help the fellow transitioning veterans. I wish you all the best and everybody who's listening.
Thank
Had
you
a
so
really
much,
good
ma'am.
time talking.